All right, welcome to this special edition of Spotlight Sioux Falls. It's us.
Taking the mic
Are
back.
we featuring ourselves?
Yeah, it sounds that way. It was
Much easier drive that way.
shorter commute for sure.
Well, Melissa said you get to pick the topic today. I said, we should just talk about the last 100 days, 120 days, from ideation of where we said, hey, this is a good idea, we should try it, to this might work, holy shit, this is working, to how is this going to be sustainable, and we've developed somewhat of a product, if not a business around it. And so, Melissa, I said I want to start by asking you questions. So if you had Spotlight to do all over again, what's the one thing you would change before we get into like going way back in time? Because I think that's the most interesting thing, because what did you learn that you would change?
Not to try to smash 100 episodes into 1 week. I felt like we were doing a lot of, I think anytime you're launching something new, you're figuring it out a little bit on the fly, but we've done a lot of podcasts. This was a different approach because it was local and we were going to them, and instead of having them come to us or doing it either virtually or in a different format or going to them. So that was different. And it was definitely a lot on the beginning, just figuring how to logistically make that work, but we did it.
And you were the overseer of Magnetic, the CEO of Magnetic this whole time. And I kept saying to you, what is Spotlight Sioux Falls? Like, is it a company or is it a podcast? You were kind of like, just chill. What is Spotlight Sioux Falls? And more importantly, let's ask this question. Maybe people have an idea about it. What is Spotlight Sioux Falls not that people might think it is?
What is Spotlight Sioux Falls not? I don't know. I guess I don't know how to answer that question. So I would say what it is. Spotlight Sioux Falls is a podcast on Sioux Falls business owners that we allow them to tell their story in a way that they want to tell it. So what we heard from a lot of people was, hey, I had spots before, I show up. I don't get really much of a say at all in terms of what actually gets put on air.
Yeah.
I go record, they decide what it is. I get like 30 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever that number is. And so this was actually an opportunity for businesses where we would dig in and wanted to know about their stories, the stuff that makes our neighbors, the people that own businesses here in Sioux Falls are our community.
Yeah.
And they're building the infrastructure of the city. And so just wanting to hear more about who they are, where they come from, why they do this crazy thing of starting a business, because it is so hard. It is a ride inside a tornado. And why would you want to do that? Like it takes a bit of a crazy person to want to do that. So we really did hone in over time on what are their stories, what makes them unique, and what about their business that's unique.
What is the secret sauce of Spotlight Sioux Falls? If you had to say of all the things, and don't worry about sounding like, oh, it's not about me. Like, is it the process? Is it the people? Is it the community? What's the one thing?
I think we take a very intentional approach to people's stories that other people don't have the time, or maybe just frankly, the economics don't make sense for them to do that, but it's important for us the story is always at the heart of what we do.
Yeah.
And that's not just a tagline. I mean, it really is like, how do we get to know them? And I think that's part of it. We both have theater, you have radio backgrounds, and we both love people's stories. We're both deeply entrenched in that. And so that was important to us to be able to tell that story in an honest way. Yeah. That also, the business owner wanted to get told, because many times they have things that are not out in the open.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting just to even think about some of those things. We stopped to talk about it a lot. At least I did. I did talk to you. You're like, again? And I was like, well, but what about this? What about this? What if he did this? And, I'm an ideas guy, but I think I thought almost in a shocked way, like, oh, we could do this for a long period of time. Like we could do this, call it forever. And I think at that pace, no. And I think that's what we learned is that might sound nice. And if you remember me going, we got to do 5 days a week, fresh content, new episode every morning, to let's get consistent, to let's get consistent and good, to let's get consistent and good, and now like a return on investment with sort of our latest evolution for the business owners. And my question to you would be, as we're traversing sort of this evolution of the product, the community that Spotlight Sioux Falls is, at the end of the day, people know we're a business. We need to make money. How has that journey been for you when you have to meet so many business owners and kind of going like, oh, we have the same opportunities and problems as you. We have the economics of all of this has to work out too. It can't just be like doing things we love. It has to be balancing love with work, with schedules and kids' schedules and all the things. Like, what did you take away from learning all of that collective intelligence? How'd you apply it to your own business?
I think we learn from all of our clients and all of our customers. I think there is a through line from any business that we've talked to, just the struggles that we all have as business owners. There's always a struggle. So if you haven't had one yet, just hang on a little bit. And then there's always a deep-seated meaning that keeps you doing what you're doing, because if you didn't, you would easily find a job, right, or do something different. So I think those are some through lines there. I think we did evolve even as we continued to do SpotLight over the last 4 months. Our approach in terms of how we were approaching the work, and anytime you're innovating or creating something new, there is a period of chaos. It's a little bit chaotic, a little bit rocky at the beginning. Nothing's perfect. And that's why we had the prices so low and we were doing all the crazy stuff at the beginning. That was totally didn't make sense financially, but it was amazing experiences, I think, for the people that were part of it and for us too. Yeah. And now we've gotten a little bit smarter about like, okay, so how do we get the best story and in time and the amount of time that is feasible for them and for us. Yeah. So I think over time you kind of refine your process, but anytime you're doing something new, you got to be comfortable with a little bit of chaos. Yeah.
It's I think the one thing I learned from it all was that myself in particular, I thought I want to do all these episodes. And after a while I said, like, I really don't.
And I was like, who made that rule? And you're like, I did.
Many rules. I think.
No, you were like, we have to do X amount of episodes every week. And I was like, wait a minute.
Well, I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I think it's learning what's right and wrong and having an answer for yourself. Because it's always hard as whether or not you're my partner in life or not. I probably am not going to listen until I see it. Because we're both stubborn and we think our ideas are pretty good. And I think if anything, I learned like, okay, the idea is good. The execution's hard. And the original idea is close and very far away, in my head at least, from where it originally came about. And I'll tell you what was important to me is in my own evolution of call it content, I went from it really being like this ego feeding, as you know, like ego feeding, pumping up the validation, to like, that was great. I loved it at the time. And it drove business, a lot of business, but it didn't make us profitable. It still had to be a business. And I think it almost soured me on the idea of content because it became so attached to outcomes. And it was nice to turn the camera on other people. And not
Are you talking
really
about before SpotLight or after SpotLight?
Talking about 5 years ago.
Okay, got
content journey. Like that's the first piece of content I wrote was probably 5 years ago.
Okay, so you're talking 5 years ago, not the beginning of SpotLight.
That's why I said let's rewind the clock.
Got it.
Yep. So we'll edit that out. Yeah. So I said let's go back in time.
So when you said that, I thought you meant the beginning of SpotLight. So I just didn't want people to think that maybe we were egotistical driving SpotLight at the beginning. So I'm with you now. Okay. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Am I sure what?
Well, I'm not talking about you. I was going to ask you about your content journey and just say like, I want to talk about content now, not SpotLight, not you, not me.
Go for it.
So if I had to look at, call it our own content journey as people, like for me, when I first produced a piece of content with the intention of doing it again the next day, it was about 5 years ago. And I think for me, it worked for our business. It drove business, but really it drove, this need for validation that I knew existed, if I'm being honest with you. But like, I think on the outside, it was probably evident to, when someone's in it for the pats on the back and the likes, like, that was me, I'd check it 10 times a day. Like I'd barely ever check my own stats now. And I think that was the nicest part if I had to fast forward to SpotLight Sioux Falls and sort of really just becoming disenchanted with the idea of content myself, co-owning a content company is not a good thing. And so I had to fall back in love with content. And I think SpotLight Sioux Falls allowed me to see content for what it is and not worry about myself at all. Other than that, we wanted it to be really good for our customers. And I really like that because I think that's how life kind of works. Is it just teaches you the lessons that you are willing to step up and learn if you work hard enough. What about you?
What about you for content?
Yeah, go. I mean, where did you first create your first piece of content? Because obviously it wasn't SpotLight Sioux Falls. It was a long time ago.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't really post a lot prior to working at Magnetic. I posted a little bit,
Yeah.
but it wasn't something I did every day. Just when I felt moved to do it for whatever reason, it wasn't something that I was consciously doing or even consistent with. It was just sort of as I felt like it was, again, just felt like doing it. So when I started Magnetic and I was like, I have to do this every day, did feel like a slog. And I'll be honest, like I've gone a week now without posting stuff. And on LinkedIn, which I was doing a lot of. I think part of it is I do love telling people stories. And I think part of it is figuring out what the important part of your story to tell is if you're a business owner. So there's a few things you should always be talking about is like why you do, what you do, how you do it, and the vision of where you're going. And you can tell those stories over and over again in so many different ways. Yeah. And so I think if you're focusing on yourself, like things I know, you should do this, you should do that, then it gets really old really fast.
Especially for you, the person doing it, I think. It's
like, what a drag.
There's no reward in that unless somebody does the thing you're hoping they do, and that's outcome based. And I think that's been, it's tough not to be. We're in the business of it, right? Like we're in the business of getting a lot of views in the right niches, changing lives, for lack of a better term. Like we want to drive businesses, give people better solutions. And I don't think you can take that too lightly because it is a haul.
Well, I think we both consider getting results for people very seriously.
Yeah, we can't control all that, right? So the algorithm is the algorithm. And I think that's, now if we fast forward to the evolution of our product is sort of as that's changed and we've seen things work for ourselves, the nice part is almost everything we've done, and this is where I feel probably the best about it, we've made the mistakes on ourselves or we've succeeded doing it for ourselves. And we did it again. It wasn't just like, well, it's Steve's crazy idea that I have 100 of it. It was like, oh, this worked. Let's do this again. And again, walk me through beginning SpotLight to where SpotLight is now. If someone said, okay, I recorded an episode with you guys in June or May. Mm-hmm. I want to do business again, but I don't want to do the same thing. I thought that was great, but I kind of got to make money out of it or whatever. And a lot of people said, great job, but they didn't really buy a house from me or anything because they have this life event solution, if you will. What would you tell them in terms of like, what are we doing now? What could they benefit from it?
When we started, I think one of the things I feel very proud of is when we started SpotLight, not many people were doing podcasts. We didn't hear much about podcasts. Yeah. And the interesting thing is we're able to see who hits our website. And we've seen all the agencies now following us and hitting our website many over and over again. And I'm seeing people like, oh, we can do podcasts too. Oh, we have a podcast too. Like, and I think that's great. I think in many ways it feels good to like, we started some interest, right? I got some things going there, got some shown a light on something that I think people know works. However, what we noticed early on is just the format itself, the length, what you talk about, how you talk about it, the way that you show up with a camera, the audio, all of those things are so, and we knew some of that from the work that we had done previously for the last couple of years with other clients, but all of that is so important. And many people, I think what we learned was really quickly how to craft those stories. And especially now we've got a really strong process about how to look at a story in terms, I think of it almost like a signal, like a signal map. Mm-hmm. Like I want to hit those, if you have a waveform, you'll see peaks, right? Yep. And I think of those peaks as my shorts, and I want to have a certain amount of peaks, and I want to hit those at a certain time in the podcast. And we actually reverse engineer all of that now. Yep. So that way, when we're interviewing and asking people questions and going through that process, it's very deliberate and it results in great shorts, a shorter podcast that's a little more concise. We've got much better video than when we started. Lighting is better. All those things are better. So I think all of that has changed. And I think the process has changed a lot for us too.
Yeah. The process itself, I think is the part I'm most excited about is the process you spoke of, which is the design thinking element of like, how do we get inside these people's heads and inside of people's hearts? Because that is inevitably.
It's storytelling, yeah.
That's really tough. The other part is wanting to get the post in front of the right people. And I think that was sort of that evolution of like, oh, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make darn sure that is
Well, that was you. So let's talk about that for a second. So I love the stories, and I'm about telling the story and crafting the story and looking at like how do people do it on Dateline and 60 Minutes and the video shorts you see in the news. Like what do they do and how do we incorporate some of that? But you were thinking of it from a different lens. You're thinking from sales.
Yep.
So tell us about how that evolved from the sales side.
Transparency. People don't really care about transparency if there's nothing to see. I've learned that in all the transparency layers I've tried to give customers, but I think they want to know that you're getting it to the right people, right? Like if I sell cars, or if I sell a product where, moms buy it, like I want to get in front of moms. I don't need to get in front of dads because moms buy my stuff. And that's not sexist. That's just sort of the facts, right? Of buyer behaviors, buyer interest groups. Well, all these social platforms are different and the same, where if you're on LinkedIn, I can pick like job titles and all these different filters, and then I can go over to Meta. Well, anybody can do that, but it's very hard to nail it perfectly, and you're not going to get it perfect. And that's really saying, I want these people to see it, and I'm willing to spend money to get it in front of them. And I don't want it to show up as an ad. I want it to show up as a suggested post, right? And so I think learning that, it was so wild to me. The first 5 people we talked to were all like, yes, I want that. Yes, I want that. And so we're like, people do like outcomes.
For sure.
They'll take the one episode. They might come on more than that 4 times a year, but honestly, like we had people who wanted to do it who were making a lot of money, and there are customers now, but they've been in business for 20 years. They'll do a podcast once a month, bi-weekly. But if you're new in business, it's hard to afford that and have a story to tell that's really worth listening to. So I think what they want to do is drive revenue. And I think that's where I got really excited was, how can I work with you to create that system? And honestly, that's where I felt we really started working together, was like both of us were like, hey, this is your lane, this is mine. Let's work together, because I don't know anything you do. You spent so much time developing this, and I've spent a lot of time developing this. Whereas before, we're like, we're creating content, we're posting for people, we're writing posts, and that's a lot of work. But we didn't have separate lanes per se, where your expertise and mine could shine for clients next to each other. So I really liked that process.
So tell us a little bit more, because that was one of the things as we worked with, whether it's magnetic, our traditional product, which was a lot of automated outreach and designing sequences and reaching, building up your pipeline. We did all of that for several years. What we found is that many people in the traditional side of the business struggled with offers.
Oh, big time.
And then we kind of incorporated that work that we've always done, the strategy around a great offer, and brought that into the content and the shorts. Do you want to talk about that?
SpotLight shorts that sell, whatever it is, it's a video short. And we were already cutting shorts up, right? YouTube is the #1 local media channel, which I guess, and not to sound confident, but like the people in the businesses made that happen, right? Their friends, their network, the curious people. And of course, we can pat ourselves a little bit on the back, but not too much, because that wasn't really us. We did the work of putting up the channel. Well, it's just really started. Like that was 4 months ago. And so that was telling, but that doesn't, YouTube's evergreen, as you put it a lot, right? And that is there when people search for things.
So what that means is somebody might stumble on your YouTube video 2 years from now, 4 years from now. So you put up a short versus you post something on Facebook and it's gone.
See ya.
So finding a way, what we found was like a number of things. There's so many things to talk about, but just like having a place where you can keep your video assets and keep them in a structured way that's competitive and discoverable is really important. And then also helping people design great offers. And a great offer is not necessarily let me audit your stuff, because what does that mean to a client? If I say, I'll come and audit your stuff for free.
Can we back up a second? Because this is my favorite part. What is an offer? Like, define an offer to this audience? I mean, they might know, but like in your words.
Why don't you define the offer? That's what your specialty is.
Well, not our offer. I think an offer is...
It's not let me audit your stuff, because that means more work for the customer. They do not want you to audit their stuff.
So an offer would be, act today. Here's urgency. There's time boxing around it. If you don't act today...
And it's valuable.
And I probably don't have to spend a lot of money or time, right? Or... I spend a lot of money, but I can only spend that less amount of money versus the normal amount of money if I do it today. But you have to emotionally motivate them. And some of those things are psychological. It's kind of inherent with marketing. It's not manipulation. It's really positioning, right?
But it has real value and urgency.
So an example of an offer might be what, Melissa? What would be a good example of all that in motion?
Why don't you give one?
Okay. So over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be taking 8 more members to join our, we're the #2 negotiation training firm in the world, only behind Chris Voss and right before Harvard Business School. But we're only taking 6 more now. Because since I started talking to you, 2 more signed up. Like you time box it, right? And then the value on the upside is you're going to be there. It's going to be 2.5 days. This is not some webinar that lasts 10 minutes. And that's extremely beneficial to me. Why wouldn't I sign up for that? It almost seems too good to be true. Unless I've already been trained or like I just don't care, then that's 99% of everybody. But if you get that in front of the right people, they're going to take advantage of it. And therefore, you might be asking yourself, well, if it's free, Steve, how does the company make money? So Melissa, how would a company make money if they had a free workshop as their offer? And people signed up and they said, I'm going to be there, Melissa. I'm going to go to your tallow workshop or your skincare workshop next Saturday at Canopy. And I'm going to go, like, what's in it for you though? If it's free for me, like the offer is that. But
Well, I would show you what a pain it is to make it. And then I'll show you my product that's already made. So I'll show you how to do it. And then you can be like, you can go home and spend 6 hours boiling over a stove and do it 4 times.
Yep.
And then add all the other ingredients and buy the packaging and do it yourself. Or you can
Stinks
buy
like
this little,
cow.
you can buy
Yeah.
this little container of it that's beautiful and made for you.
Yep.
So that's one way to do it. But I think there's so many offers are a separate thing.
Well,
I think we could spend a whole.
let's define what you just said though, because I think that's the takeaway. So they win and you might win, right?
Yeah.
But if the formula would say, like, you kind of make it very clear that there's a path when they leave that day that you don't have to do it alone. As you can see, and you've all come to appreciate this, like, I do it for you. And then a few people do it, and you just keep giving that value away, and eventually you build a business out of it.
It might be a discount. It can be as simple as a discount, 20% off for the next, day and a half. It might be a free workshop. It might be whatever, but it has value. It has real value.
Yeah, buy
to
one
a
pancake,
client.
normally get 2 instead.
And there's
two for the price
urgency.
of 1. Yep.
And there's urgency.
Yeah.
So one of the things we combined with SpotLight. So I think when we think about SpotLight, what was started as hey, let's do a podcast for businesses, turned into more of a, hey, let's figure out a way to not only make this valuable from a cross-pollination standpoint, from a visibility standpoint, an awareness standpoint, but get those shorts and get those episodes in a way that tells great stories. It yields incredible shorts that now we can actually help you use to sell in a way that we can target a specific audience. We can give them a great offer. We can put all of your assets in an evergreen place. So there's a lot of things now that you can leverage that SpotLight episode for that even a small business that's just getting started can do for a really low cost, which has been amazing. It's been cool to see that evolve.
My second favorite part, and I think after this we'll wrap up this section of it because I get too excited about this stuff, but I want to say it in a way that matters to everybody out there. Websites are not something that Melissa and I mean, both of us could build a website, right? But it's not our core expertise. I think what we've seen is ourselves when we're out shopping, call it, you end up with this offer. It's usually not on a website buried in the second paragraph, right? It's something that's very easy to identify. I'd click on Instagram or LinkedIn, like, learn more. And pretty soon I am down the rabbit hole, whether it's YouTube or whether it's a landing page, and like really identifying that offer, making it clear and concise in a way that people could act. I think that was the final glue where I said, oh, if we can do that, like, and we can measure like who's coming there, like now it's over. Like in terms of like, we can just work on that for a while now. There are those pieces that are all elements to what we're doing now. And I think that's the part where I really go, gosh, I get this system. I can see they get it. And anybody can do it, but we at least can inject our IP into like your IP into the creation of the frame. Like, what are we talking about? What's the creativity? Like, what's the story? And then you just extract shorts. I love that part of it because it makes sense to me and it seemingly makes sense to a lot of people as well.
So what's your vision for SpotLight and what's your vision for, well, let's start with that and then we can talk about Magnetic because SpotLight is a product under Magnetic.
Yeah. Yep. SpotLight Sioux Falls was the name I think we came up with together. And I remember being obsessed with it for about a month. I'm like, oh my God, this is a great name. Well, it is. But SpotLight Sioux Falls is not all we want to do. And we love it. But we have a company I founded and brought Melissa in to co-found and become the CEO because I was focusing on revenue. And she's a great leader. And she's very much about cutting the bullshit and getting to work. And I just said, you're a better CEO than me. But that company has since, 2003, 2022. I just started where I said we're going to have a piece of software called Magnetic Mail. That's automated LinkedIn DMs, text message, email. That's my background, outbound, getting the data for people, verifying the data, like that. We were killing it. But then again, so can anybody else do that. And so when you came on, the nice part was we started to do content a lot more than in a more organized fashion. We had more bandwidth. And if I had to look at the evolution of where things are today, it's significantly different. But we made a lot of circles to get back to something that's pretty simple in terms of the core offering, where I see SpotLight is a product under Magnetic. SpotLight is our video product, especially here in Sioux Falls. I mean, we have a podcast, SpotLight Sioux Falls. That is a product that we created. So when we tell people about offers, we're like, yeah, remember that thing you said, I want to do that, and now here's your episode? That was our offer. 21% of you guys bought more. That's the offer. That's the landing page. We
so
paid
where do you
for
see
ads.
it going?
I want to see it stay right
over the
here
next
for a while.
year?
I want to see SpotLight Shorts lock in and start to produce predictable-ish results for people, so it just becomes something that businesses feel is of extreme value. So then we can charge the appropriate amount and still not have to take on 1 million customers to just make it work.
So I would say, in terms of, I would add to that a little bit. We have, we've definitely shifted in terms of where we've come to where we are today, and I do think it is a good combination of storytelling and sales, and that really is the value that you get with with Magnetic and with SpotLight. Whether you choose to do the shorts, whether you choose to just do one SpotLight episode or multiple ones, or do something else with us that's a little more comprehensive using video. I do think in terms of where we are headed, we always test on ourselves first. We always do multiple betas, and
That's the chemistry side of you.
That's the we always have to make sure, like, let's make sure this works. Let's make sure this yields results. We'll do small tests and then grow them over time, and that I can see us continuing to evolve those to get more and more effective with different industries, because we've worked now construction, food industry. We've worked with consultants, with a lot of healthcare. So that's been really cool.
That's all you. Your background.
That's been very fun. I think in terms of where I would like to see SpotLight going, I would like us to see where we've got, a steady 10 to 15 SpotLight customers each month, where we're getting to know people, they get to know us a little bit, where we do shorts with the customers. But I agree, I think we like to go deep with people. We don't like to go wide with lots of, relatively inexpensive offers, because we just by nature are people that want to get to know our clients. And I really love that part of the work. I know we've got a couple of clients right now that we work with that are they're becoming very close friends. We enjoy, doing the work and understanding what they do. Yeah,
we're not going to name any names now, but that's been the sustainable part. You just nailed it for me, is we've been able to work with people who even came in 3 months ago who said, Spotlights are cool, I want to do that, but I also want you guys to do a podcast for me, for our company. I love that. And I love, it's heavy, it's a big commitment because they're trying to do big things with it. But whether it's our healthcare client or a construction client, we have 2 now who are in the restaurant food business. That's super fun to me. I love that energy. And getting to hang out at a pizza shop and eating deep dish pizza and getting, paid well for it and seeing him love it. That's where the deep relationship, getting to crack apart that kernel and saying, show me what's really in there. Not super complicated, but there's always layers to everything.
Yeah.
So that's been great.
So let's talk a little bit more about me for a second.
Let's do it. You want to talk about your tallow product?
I do.
I bet you did.
And I do want to talk about your obsession with farming.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about tallow first. Can I give my version of this?
Yeah.
She thought I didn't care. She thought I wasn't paying attention.
You were kind of a jerk at first.
She thought I was a jerk. And I was just well, I'm just busy with this. And I've supported
Well,
your
it just
chemistry.
started as a crazy experiment.
Yeah,
it did start a little nuts. I will say that.
So
I'd give you that one.
I think one time I went over to your house and you're like, you should check this out. And I'm like, what are you making? And she's like, yeah, I'm making this. And I was like, oh, cool. You got a thing going on? She's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, that's great. Because we don't live together right now. And we spend a lot of time together, but I'm over plenty. And so I remember seeing more and more of these jars and more of these. And it would start to smell terrible, if I'm honest with you. It smelled
I don't think it
like
smells
herbs
that bad.
and fat, like boiling fat off. And I know you like all kinds of crazy smells that I don't, but I was just like, okay, what's going on here? This is turning into a factory.
I'm not saying it smells good, but it doesn't smell that bad. We have a fan and windows.
I'm probably exaggerating. It smelled enough different than food that you would eat that I was like, what are you steaming in these chemistry beakers? And she's like, I'm driving out west. I've got a cow and I'm going to get 40 pounds of tallow. And then one day she was like, I'm driving to Salem. I'm like, she's definitely like, this is her vibe. And I think you described to me, like, if I can't do things like that bring me joy, then I don't want to do any of this. Like, this is like,
Yeah, I need a little playtime. I need a little bit of crazy.
Yeah.
Self-created crazy. I think we both do that to
bet.
a degree. Where it's like, I need to do this nuts thing. I need to play for a bit, or I'm going to go insane.
Yeah, but you put a label on yours, and you've done everything.
I have.
What
trademarked it, labeled it.
Walk us through the last 90 days in your words versus Steve's.
I don't know. I'd heard about tallow a few times. I mean, my grandma used to do this.
What is tallow?
She used to render the beef suet, the beef fat, and she would use it for pies and things, right?
Lard.
And that was her secret ingredient. She would always say, I have the best pie crust in the county. That was she was very proud of that. And everybody knew it.
Yep.
And if you disagreed, you were wrong. But it was all based on the tallow because it was the real thing. And it was funny because I'd heard about this thing of putting it on your face, and I was like, whatever. And it just kind of cooked in the back like things do. Mm-hmm. And one day I just had this crazy hair, and I'd messaged a meat locker, local-ish. And I was like, do you have any beef suet? And they're like, yeah, we got some. And I said, how much? And they said they had 40 pounds. And I said, I'll take all of it. And I drove there between video shoots and grabbed it. And then cooked it down, and I practiced. And the first version did smell.
Yeah.
The dogs loved it.
Well, it was on my face.
It was on your face.
Yeah.
You were a very good sport.
Oh, now I'm a good sport. Okay.
Yeah, you were a good sport about that
the
part.
whole time.
Well, and then you were like, I don't like this. It makes me break out.
It did make just one little addition.
And so then I started doing research, and I was like, well, it makes half the people that try it makes breakout.
What was it that made me break out?
Because it's occlusive. So beef tallow is it's like melted butter, or like Vaseline.
Clogged the pore.
And if you put it on your face, you put a bunch of butter on your face, you're going to get zits, right? A lot of people, not everybody. Some people say it does the opposite. Well, so I started researching it. And you have to mix the tallow with other things in order for it to not make you break out.
Yep.
So then went the rabbit hole of research and doing all the different dermatology reviews and looking at New England Journal of Medicine, which there is nothing about tallow, by the way. If you go look it up, you will not find any research on tallow, just specific parts of tallow that like stearic acid and other things you can find some research on. So I was like, well, what do I mix it with so it doesn't cause you to break out? And that's when I started thinking maybe I could do this. Maybe I could add a little of this and add a little of that and testing it out and using it on I did burn my face one day because I tried some stuff that was a little too strong.
Yep. All of us have
I've learned not
self-inflicted wound from
test
testing.
on my face.
Or your family and friends.
So what I'm launching with is not any chemical. So I've used only natural chemicals. So even natural stuff can burn your face, just FYI. Because I only use plant-based retinols, plant-based cellular renewal kinds of products.
Does everybody who's listening know what all this stuff is, retinol?
So retinol is a skin plumper.
Yeah.
There's amino acids called peptides that can also help cellular renewal. So I've been testing with a lot of that stuff plus tallow.
Oh, that's all. That's just a science lab in my kitchen.
Yeah, a lot. It has gotten weird. I will share some. It has gotten pretty weird, but it's been fun. And like I said, it scratches an itch for me because I love to play and make things.
Yeah.
And I love storytelling and I love the work that we do with our clients, but I just needed something to give me a little bit of a play space. So that's what I've been doing evenings and weekends. And I'll be launching very soon with just the tallow products.
I bet you'll be a sponsor of our show, won't
and
you?
Oils. I likely will. Yeah, tallow products with the oils, and then the face creams with the bakuchiol and the peptides will be coming later.
Oh, the bakuchiol. What is that?
The bakuchiol.
You say it like everybody knows this stuff. I mean, this is like when I talk about sales, you're like, Steve, no one knows.
Well,
what
most women know what retinol is.
Are women fans of our shows? That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know so many women listen to us.
So retinol is a thing that most people know. So bakuchiol is a natural retinol alternative.
Do you go buy? Okay.
You can buy it, yeah.
Anyways,
peptides are a little harder to get.
Here's the nice thing. I don't know if you've noticed my skin, you guys, but this is next level. I mean,
so you want to be a farmer though. So this is where things can collide. Yeah.
I've started using your skin products, and I actually feel like I have a little bit of a glow to myself.
You do. You have a glow.
Yeah, thank you.
Look
That's
how
very
pretty
nice of you. So, as an aging man, 48, soon to be 2 years younger than my better half, I started using this. I'm like, I don't use skincare regularly. I never have. Like, it looks like
crazy.
I haven't.
You look good.
I looked okay, and I still look okay, but it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. Skin is not just a look. Skin is a lot of things. And so I did.
You want to feel good. Yeah.
I think so. And I think after losing some weight and then like, I should probably work on my skin now and keep the weight off and like just try and be a healthy person from inside and out.
My mom used to sell Avon, and my grandmother so we get the beef from my grandmother and my cousins now farm, and so they're fifth generation South Dakota farmers, which I'm very proud of. It's very cool to see what they do and go. I love visiting them. It's really fun. But she loves skincare. My mom was an Avon lady, so she was a teacher, but sold Avon, and she never sold anything. She always gave it away. I don't think she ever made any money. It made my dad furious. But I love what I love about skincare is it makes you feel good. Makes you feel good about yourself. I mean, especially if it's connected to the land and plants and things that are honest and true, then you put that on, it makes you feel good. Take care of yourself.
You also got the name from your grandmother. She was a beat writer for the local newspaper.
A beat writer, yeah.
I think that's interesting too. Do you want to dig into that here before we skip over to farming with Steve?
Well, yeah, she used to write a social column called the Lone Tree News, which was like Burl and Myrtle had their daughter-in-law and their son Buddy over for dinner, and they had pot roast and Jello salad, and it was a whole columns of it, and it was so great. And most of it was our family. She'd be like, Rosie and Danny came over with their kids, Melissa, and we always were in her column whenever we went to visit. But it was Facebook before Facebook. It was the social column of the Winter Advocate.
The Winter South Dakota Advocate. I have an idea. Why don't you include little lines of hers on each?
I did my mom did go find a whole bunch of her columns.
Find some of the lines you like the best and say, on this skincare line, I'm going to put this little passage.
Ooh, that's cute. I love that. Just like the what is the drinks that did that? Remember it was Arizona iced tea.
I know
used to
the
do stuff like
toothpaste guy
that.
does it.
Snapple used to do that.
It's
Remember
great.
Snapple?
I read the back. It was like a book.
Yeah, those are really fun.
So
that's
maybe
a great
take
idea.
Well, we get good ideas
That's really
together.
smart. You're
All right,
a good
let's
idea
talk about
guy.
me. You ready?
So you want to be a farmer?
Yeah.
This is where our ideas can
with
collide.
all this free time I had because she was so busy making tallow.
And I was like, okay, your farm sounds not so bad now.
Well, she said that just recently, just mind you.
That's true.
I don't know where my original idea came from. I probably have thought like, oh, moving to the country would be cool. And then I started getting pretty serious about it because I've been living.
It's getting pretty serious.
I've been living by myself for like 2 years and 2.5 years, whatever, 3 years, but like really.
It's not 3 years. 2 years?
I've been living at this location a year and a half, 2.5 years.
Okay.
I mean, we were apart for a little bit, but like naturally we would not be living together if we were apart. But we don't live together still. I mean, we got kids.
We're going to cut that out, but yeah.
We're just like, that's kind of closed together over time. And I'm like, listen, I love you. I am going to be here. I'm going to move to a farm though, because I don't want to live in town anymore. And she's like, oh, and then all of a sudden, I think you could tell I was serious. Now, like serious to me is usually like funny, but I was past that. Like I was looking for farmland. I was watching shows about like, where do you start?
Okay.
And it eventually was like, essentially I had to ask myself, can I put a snowplow on my truck? And you can just get into a snowplow. You just drive into it. So I was like, check. Can I dig a fence post hole? Hell no. Like
that's hard. That's hard work.
Can I learn that after my shoulder surgery? Maybe, but I was like, I can hire somebody to dig a fence post hole. Maybe that's step 2. And then I started talking to people. They said, listen, just find an old house on a piece of land you like and go there and do some remodels to it. Like it doesn't have to be a piece of trash, but they're like, you're not going to find the perfect place around here. It doesn't exist. Find a place that has a barn, enough of a barn, and a house that you like that you can make better and make it your.
What is the allure of farming to you?
I just, it's everyone in my family was the same way that I'm aware of. My grandpa's grandpa, my grandpa. They're German, and they just, when they age, they want to be more alone and kind of not be as busy. And then they kind of get annoyed by noise and weird stuff. And I was always like, I'll never be like that. I'm like, here I am, ready to go be, I find more peace in being alone. I like to explore without being distracted. And I think like being in a place that has so much to explore. I don't watch TV. Like I'm on the internet working all day, unfortunately. Like I need to stop that though and then look outside and say, I want to go do this hard thing I don't know how to do today. The YouTube's a thing. I can learn it.
You can, yeah.
And so I'm going to start with a garden, a goat.
A goat.
And 2 chickens and a horse or a cow. I got to pick one.
Why?
But that's a year 1 goal.
Why is it a goat, 2 chickens, and a horse?
Goats are manageable. Like goats usually are fairly low maintenance. 2 chickens can produce eggs. So I can understand the process of like
they're so mean.
Getting eggs from a chicken and then getting them, farm to table, call it, and then I'll eventually murder my animal, whether it's not a horse but a cow. I would use a cow and then say, okay, I'm going to buy a cow, and eventually that cow is going to have a great life, and I'm going to get more of them. So once in a while, I can, as it's aging, and it's coming to its natural preclusion, I will say,
preclusion.
Now I have to go be a man, and
You're going to butcher you can't butcher the cow.
I'm not going to butcher it, but I'm going to be able to say like, oh, this cow was my pet animal, and now it is a it is serving a greater purpose. So I think it's just understanding the full cycle of life and
How
it
long
all
does a cow
fits
live
together.
before you butcher it?
I don't want to talk about that on this show.
Oh,
It can vary, but it's usually, 6 to 8 years would be a good maximum age for tender meat.
Okay, tender meat.
Yeah, and still have a good life
Okay.
where they can eat in a field and you can feed them from crops that you grow. Whether that's
Okay,
in
well,
the garden
here's
or not.
Steve's plan. He's going to be a farmer. He's going to get a goat, 2 chickens.
Nobody
and
liked
a
that on
cow.
social media, by the way. They were were laughing.
And you're going to grow something. You're going to grow plants.
Yeah, plants. That's a good way to call it.
You're
But
gonna grow
legal
plants.
plants. Yeah, legal plants that you can eat. And then some animals. And then I would call my stepdad Lee, who was a farmer, and farming friends I have, and be like, I need some help. And I want to have like holidays out there. Well, how cool would it be to have Christmas on the farm?
Oh my God. I don't know, Steve. I'm not sure about this. I can get down on the tallow side of things and I'm like, okay, I can make something out of that. But it seems like a lot of work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. This was the oddest.
Steve's family farm.
Yeah, well, we have
Schmidt's
tallow
Creek.
farms,
Yeah.
podcasts.
We'll see what happens. Stay tuned for next episode.
Check it all out on YouTube.
Click the link below.
This is our crazy life. Nobody's listening.
All right. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Yep. This episode of Spotlight Sioux Falls is sponsored by Magnetic. We help businesses grow through content that stands out and software that scales your conversations. Not sure how to build your pipeline? You can find us at magnetic.services. Magnetic.services. Your pipeline will thank you.
Thanks for listening to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
These are the stories and the businesses that shape our city. If you heard something today that made you smile, made you think, or maybe reminded you of someone you know in your neighborhood, please share it.
That's how we support local. That's how we grow. And if you know a business owner we should feature, or you want to tell your story, reach out.
Until next time, we're Steve and Melissa, and this is Spotlight Sioux Falls, where local stories get the stage they deserve. Running a business means we all wear a lot of hats, but sometimes you need extra hands, sometimes some specialized talent to keep projects moving.
That's where our friends at Solvo Global come in. Whether you need offshore or nearshore resources or long-term project support, Solvo connects you with the right people to scale your business.
They make it simple. You get trusted talent without the overhead, so you can focus on growth instead of scrambling for help.
Check out the link in our show notes below to learn more about how Solvo Global can support your next big move.